That is Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor, and these preseason Big 12 rankings. I want to go through the bottom half. Here, you're going to want to stay. You're going to want to stay around. You're going to want to stay around for number 4.
I will. Oh, okay.
And number 8. They're wild. There's some wild moves here. Brett Ciencia with Pick 6 previews. It's voted consistently the best magazine in college football. Even better sometimes, most of the time, than Phil Steele. Number 1 most accurate Power 5 preview since 2012. Every single year. That's good.
Can I ask what that's based on, or I believe
no.
you?
Stop.
Okay.
Don't even. Number 16 of the conference. I'm going to go through the first. I'm going to go up until 10 here and see if there's anything glaring stands out to you. 16, Houston. Yeah.
Sure.
15, BYU. First Jewish starting quarterback in BYU history is back, by the way. Keep that in your back pocket.
And Gary Bohannon is there. Baylor legend Gary Bohannon.
Gerald Bohannon is playing, the Earl, Arkansas guy. Number 14, Arizona State. At this point, it's like, kind of flip coin. Sure, whatever.
Sure. And a couple more coin flips, I'm sure, in the next few.
13, Cincinnati. Hey, yeah. I thought we'd see you down here. Sweet. Maybe a little higher than I expected.
Or is it UC?
Yeah, it's UC.
That's too bad. That was close.
The number 12 team in the conference, Baylor, coming off 3-9 season. Again, all right. That most people have that as pretty much their bottom of the league. Nothing's glaring right now. 11, Colorado. 10, Texas Tech. Colorado was 4-8 last year.
Yeah,
Texas
I think
Tech was disappointing.
I think you're looking at especially those 11 through 14 being total coin flips too, in terms of
I would say
Colorado, Baylor,
BYU could be at the 13,
with BYU's got a tough schedule, and I don't think that helps them. But yeah, I mean, I could see 2 of those teams being bowl eligible and the rest not be, but I can't tell you what those 2 teams are. Tech at 10.
Also, Cincinnati's not very good.
Cincinnati's not very good. They lost to Baylor last
16.
year.
I wouldn't be shocked at them at 16. Houston's defense is just god awful, terrible.
I kind of like Tech though. I don't
10.
I don't want them. I don't expect them to win the conference. I guess I don't want them to win the conference either, but I don't expect them to win the conference. But 10 seems low for me.
Taj Brooks.
Although I like Taj Brooks a lot. They're saying Baron Morton is back to 100% or just about after that kind of weird missing out on the spring ball. And he's been inconsistent in his past, but I like the upside of Baron Morton. Love Taj Brooks. I just see them as one of those upper middle of the pack, upper middle class teams in the Big 12. I see them at like a 5th or a 6th rather than a 10. That just seems low. I think there are other teams that we're going to mention here in a minute that should be lower than them.
Maybe, and we can pick those out. The Colorado at 11, yeah.
Yes.
Number 1 quarterback room in the conference. They have Shedeur Sanders, who might win the Heisman Trophy. Number 15 rated running back room in the conference. Number 3 rated wide receiver. The offense is going to be really good. Problem is defense. No goo. They like the D-line.
What did they say about the offensive line first?
The Colorado offensive line is 16th in the conference.
Yeah.
So that is transfers taken into account. And in Brett Ciencia's all transfer team, they did get Tyler Johnson and Khalil Benson both on. So they've reloaded. The O-line's going to be better. There's not continuity, which there doesn't need to be. They were terrible. He still doesn't think they're going to be very good. Number 9 in the Big 12, West Virginia.
Almost 7.
I don't know. Garrett Green, good. Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson in the same backfield, good. Hudson Clement, he's back, good. Their O-line is pretty much all back.
I'll ask this about the skill position players.
Yeah.
Does it feel that much better than Tech?
Ooh. Yeah, CJ Donaldson and Jaheim White are both really good.
Okay.
Garrett Green,
I'm thinking it's better, but I just don't think it's that much better. And so I don't want Tech at 10. But if you're saying, hey, wherever Tech is, West Virginia is only 1 spot ahead of them, I'm like, oh, okay, that checks out. But 9 and 10, I will agree. It's not where I would have put them.
Notice
when I put 9 out on the table.
We haven't seen TCU yet. TCU hasn't come up. Number 8
I was thinking about that.
Number 8 team in the Big 12, the Kansas Jayhawks. I have Kansas in my top 3.
I think most people do.
And Brett Ciencia is a lot smarter than I am. He's got it at 8. Kansas at 8. Here's where we get real wild. Kansas has a new offensive coordinator, a really good defensive end coming in as well. I think he's got a red shirt, but could be the future. They're going to play Arrowhead. Awesome. Brett does not like Kansas.
Home of champions.
Brett does not like their offensive line either. And based on what we saw from Baylor's offensive line the last couple of years, you could argue who's to blame, but yeah, okay. And then Arkansas hired that guy. What was his name again? The big dude. He's a bigger guy.
Eric Mateos.
Eric Mateos. That's who it was.
Who was not with the Kansas offensive coordinator, Jeff Grimes, last year with Baylor, right? He was gone. Mateos was gone before then. And he's not going to be with him this year. And that's a guy who was with him at BYU and the first couple years at Baylor.
Mateos was there last year.
Was he? I was thinking he was gone before the year. Okay.
I don't know, because you and I are on ESPN Central Texas. He blocked me on Twitter, by the way.
That's cool. Now he's not with them.
We have a tie at number 6, TCU and Iowa State. I just don't know how TCU can be here.
I don't either, man. Look,
they don't really have a good TCU quarterback. Hater,
but that's the thing. There's just, I don't know what they have, man.
Yeah.
And what weapons are there? Like,
defensively, usually there's one guy for TCU that you can name that you're like, yeah, that guy's going to be a tough weapon. And the 14th rated running back room, 11th rated quarterback room, 8th wide receiver tight end. 10th offensive line.
How does that get you to 6th? I know they're going to be high on the defense, but how does all that get you to 6th?
Yeah, really good defense. Brett's loving the TCU defense, but doesn't put a single TCU Horned Frog in his first or second team all defense. Caden Jenkins is there, though. I know you like that. There is, I think Iowa State's good. I like Rocco Beck. I think he's much better than, who's the TCU kid? He had a sister that worked in Waco.
Yes, Hoover.
Yep. Hoover. Because when they played BYU, it was like, oh, geez, Jake Retzloff and the Hoover kid. Oh, gosh, boy. Oof, turn your eyes away. Iowa State.
That was the first thing I thought of. I like Rocco Becht a lot.
Yep. Abu Sama.
It's for the short white guys. I'm in for it. Yeah.
Good. Iowa State has the number 5 offensive line of the Big 12. Not shocking at all. Tie at 4 between Arizona. Okay. Noah Fafita, T-Mac.
Yeah.
And UCF. The Knights. Brett Ciencia gives them some love.
I think Fafita is really I don't want to say like the last hope for Arizona in the post-Jed Fish era, but I am surprised at how many of their players stayed, which might say something about the ball coach going up the Pacific Northwest. But as I've said it over and over about Arizona, it really is, to me, it needs to be proven in terms of they've had one good year the last decade or so, and the coach is gone from it the next year. And so I still think they've got a decent enough team out there, but it's a first-year head coach for them and a first year in the new conference. There's a lot of molehills to trip over there. UCF, I'm going to hear this one out first. Please go.
RJ Harvey. Good. Kobe Hudson. Good. KJ Jefferson, highest rated Big 12 transfer quarterback. Good. Could have been all SEC if he didn't have a terrible offensive coordinator at Arkansas. I don't hate UCF defensively.
I wonder where that guy is now.
You're gonna have to, like, their linebacker core is 5th. Defensively, they're not as good, but offensively, they're even. Like, RJ Harvey's really good. It might be the second best running back in the Big 12.
Yeah,
behind the guy we haven't mentioned yet. UCF's good.
It just feels like there's a lot of youth on that defense.
Yeah,
to put them in 4th. Like, we're not talking about like they're giving no respect at all. We're talking about putting them in the top 4.
Yeah. TCU, we put them 5 spots above West Virginia and 6 spots above Texas Tech.
I think TCU's the worst one right now.
Yeah, TCU's that's tough one at 6. Kansas at 8. I struggle with it.
Oh, that's also pretty bad. Yeah,
Top 3 needs almost zero breakdown. Number 3, Oklahoma State. Number 2, Kansas State. Number 1, Utah. Chalk. Saw that coming.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Yep. Oklahoma State.
Can you imagine what Oklahoma State would be if they had a quarterback?
Yep, I know. Alan Bowman's
golly, man.
And he's just not, he doesn't push the needle. And Kansas State has who they believe to be the second coming. And I think we should still probably put a little bit of a question mark there. We're really real high on Avery Johnson.
If we're going to be fair, I think you need a question mark on Avery Johnson. Yeah.
Yep. For a little bit.
I'm buying into the hype, Kansas State fans. I am buying into the hype a little bit. But
and then the entire starting offense and defense from the 2022 Pac-12 championship Utah Utes is back because they all died last season and have been revived. Coming up, Deion Sanders is nuts on Locked On Big 12. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by my favorite thing maybe in the entire world, and it is sports wagering. FanDuel.com. Oh my gosh. There's an app for it too, by the way. I was in Ohio this weekend. Guess what? They have FanDuel. I love sports. I love them a lot. Right now it's getting kind of tough. Like, what are you gonna bet on? The Olympics just happened, but they're done. Like, what is now? It's baseball. And I can go in and say the Texas Rangers are going to make the playoffs. I can put a bet on that. It's a plus money. And I can also bet on Cole Reagans, and I can't bet on Mike Trout anymore. Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run or stuff like that. FanDuel.com. It's got all of it. All customers get a booster bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Head to FanDuel.com. Start making the most of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.